remember when we were young, we played outside.
Hello, welcome to my home. My name is Olivia. Today we'll be making vanilla vegan cupcakes with an Elmo theme for our first birthday. So the first thing we're going to do is actually preheat the oven to 350 degrees. Next, we're going to mix all of our ingredients to make our batter. So first we'll start with our dry ingredients. We'll do 2 cups of flour, 1.25 cups of sugar, a teaspoon of baking soda, a teaspoon of baking powder, and 1/4 teaspoon of salt. And now I'm going to combine the dry ingredients. This helps so that there's not so many clumps when we mix in the wet ingredients. Now I'm going to put in 1/2 cup of coconut oil, 2 teaspoons of vanilla, and 1.25 cups of coconut milk. And now we'll take a hand mixer and make sure all the ingredients are mixed thoroughly. So now I'm going to put some coconut oil in our cupcake tin to make sure our cupcakes don't stick. You can do this if you don't have liners to use. So the reason I use coconut oil is, for one, I prefer the taste of it. 2, vegetable oil is more of a combination of different types of oils, as well as canola oil. And olive oil is a bit fragrant, so use olive oil when you have a specific recipe like a rosemary olive oil cake where you actually want to taste the olive oil. But overall, I prefer coconut oil. It adds a light sweetness and it goes great with vanilla. And now we're going to take approximately 2 tablespoons of batter and put it into each one of our cupcake molds. So you can use the same batter to make a cake as well. Today we're doing cupcakes because they're perfectly individual sized portions and because they take a shorter amount of time to cool. And I'm going to put these in the oven for approximately 15 minutes and then we'll check on them to see how they're doing. So now I'm going to set a timer for 15 minutes because we don't want them to overcook because then they'll be dry and crumbly. Alright, and now we're going to be making just a classic American buttercream, but instead of using butter, we're going to use Earth Balance. I do it in chunks so it's a bit easier to mix it. And now we're going to mix in 2 teaspoons of vanilla. So I leave the butter out for a while and then mix it with the vanilla to make it have a creamy texture, because if the butter is still cold, it'll be chunky and then your buttercream will be chunky and then it'll be really hard to spread over your cupcakes. So I mix it until it's a smooth consistency and the vanilla and the butter are mixed throughout. Next I'm going to add about 1/4 of my portion of powdered sugar. There's about 8 cups in here, so about 2 cups at a time. You do it 2 cups at a time so all of the clumps of powdered sugar can get dissolved before you add it all, otherwise it'll all just be lumpy and you'll have to mix it for longer. You could also sift the powdered sugar, but we're not doing that today. In here I have 2 tablespoons of unsweetened coconut milk. I'm just going to add 1/2 of the portion to my working frosting. Okay, so now I'm going to scoop out a portion and then you just add as much coloring as you need based on what color you want your icing to be. So this is red because Elmo is red and we want to make little monster cupcakes. So now this is the color red that I want it to be, and since I've been mixing it a bit, I'm going to put it in the refrigerator so it can harden up a bit so it's easier to put onto our cupcakes. Right now I'm coloring some fondant. Fondant is basically just sugar dough. So now we have orange for Elmo's nose. Yeah, I'm coloring this black. My fingers are going to be black. It's probably easier to buy black fondant, but today I didn't do that. Now I'm going to roll out my fondant. So first I'm going to sprinkle some cornstarch on my work surface so the fondant doesn't stick. You're not supposed to eat raw flour, so that's why I don't use flour. And also because cornstarch brushes off pretty easily. So we're going to take our black fondant and flatten it out a bit. And see, I had cornstarch on it and you just wipe it and it's fine. Then we're gonna take our orange fondant, flatten it out a bit, and then I've got just a basic small fondant roller for small surfaces. We'll use the bottom of any regular sized piping tip as our cookie cutter for the pupils for Elmo's eyes. And now we'll take the bottom of a larger size piping tip and cut out the orange for Elmo's nose. I'm making these a little bit longer because Elmo's noses are more ovals than they are circles. And then we'll take out just some plain white fondant and roll that as well for the whites of his eyes. Circle cookie cutter, that seemed like the good size for his eyes, and I'll cut out 6 of those. So I put the cupcakes in for about 15 minutes and it wasn't enough time. When I went to check them, they were still a little bit wet and not golden on the top, so I put them in for another 5 minutes, and then we'll check on them again after that 5 minutes. So these aren't all the way cool, but they were cool enough to get out of the muffin tin. Now I'm gonna put this Wilton 1M large piping tip into a 12-inch piping bag. I like this tip because you can see it's like a 6-pointed star, and that'll give Elmo his fuzzy look for his face. So now I'm gonna fold this piping bag a little bit over my hand so I can fill it with icing without getting my hand dirty, and also keep it open. And we'll take our chilled red icing and just scoop it all in there. All right. Now we're gonna close our bag and give it a little massage, make sure all the air bubbles are out of there. And then we're gonna start piping our little monsters. So how we're gonna do him is put little stars all over. Make sure it comes out not too fast. Controlled squeezes. Now we're gonna take our little white circles, or our large white circles, and place them on Elmo. I'm going to use a little bit of water because water acts like glue for fondant. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear David. Happy birthday to you. These cupcakes are vegan, and the reason I started vegan baking was because when my oldest daughter, who's about to be 5, entered preschool, we realized that a lot of the kids in her class had allergies, and so I really wanted her birthday parties to feel like all the kids could be involved. Everybody can have cake, everybody can have snacks, everybody can have everything that all the other kids have. So it was really about inclusion to start with, so all the kids feel included, those who had egg allergies, milk allergies, and then I also don't use Earth's Balance that has soy in it because some kids have soy allergies, and I also don't use any almond extracts, almond milk because of nut allergies or peanut butter icings or anything like that. There are a lot of benefits to being vegan. Heart cancer is like one of the leading causes of death in the United States, and that comes a lot from red meat, so like cutting that out of your diet is really great. And also like vegan is also better for the environment. So not only does everybody get to enjoy cake, but we also get to treat the environment nicely. We're based out of Central Colorado Springs. I have a Facebook you can follow. It's under Olivia Back, and it's called Let Us Eat Cake. And you can see more of the vegan cakes that I make that I took a little bit more time with, for one. And for two, if you have an allergy or you follow the vegan diet, I'm happy to make birthday cakes if you inquire.